Hey guys, so real quick, I wanted to talk about some of Turo's policies that I absolutely love. I've just had a couple of bad incidents, or not the best rentals in the world, with a few of my renters. It was just All-Star Weekend here in LA, so we were super busy with all of my cars. And something that I recognized and that I realized that I really like about Turo is the fact that they have certain policies in place that really protect hosts, such as myself. So if you're thinking about listing your cars, these are some really great positive policies that Turo has. So the first one I want to talk about is their cleaning fee. You know, when people, the whole thing about marketplaces, peer-to-peer marketplaces like Turo is that, it's between you and another person. And the reason why these marketplaces succeed is because there's a mutual level of respect that people are supposed to have when they're using someone else's either house or vehicle or whatever it might be. So, there is a certain standard that is to be held when people are renting your vehicles, especially if as a host, you give your car in great condition, you're on time, you're punctual, you have great communication, and you're trying to make this experience really awesome for people. But when people come back with your vehicle totally thrashed and full of trash and food and drinks, and on top of that you find things like weed or cocaine or meth, and these are all things that I have found in my car, it fucking annoys the shit out of me because I think it's just so inconsiderate. Some people out there, they just don't give a shit. They don't care that this is someone else's car or that it was given to them in a certain condition, and they don't think twice about returning it back to the host in that condition. So what I love is that Turo has a $250 cleaning fee that a host can charge if your car comes back thrashed. Now, of course, obviously it has to be a certain level of messed up, I could put the best words I could put it into. So one, if somebody smoked in your car, whether it's weed, cigarettes, cigars, whatever it might be, if someone just had weed in your car, if you leave weed in somebody's car for a couple of days, your car is gonna smell like weed. There's just like no getting around it. That's just what happens when you have weed in your car. So we get a lot of people, especially here in California, they're coming into town. Weed is legal now, so everyone wants to come here and get high, which is cool. Do whatever you want during your rental. I really don't care. Go get as high as you want, eat all the edibles you want, do whatever you want, but don't leave that shit in my car. Because what happens is, if you're gonna leave weed in my car, you're gonna leave little pieces of the nubs all over my car. Well, now I have to go through my entire car and make sure that there was no weed left in any nook and cranny or cocaine or whatever your vice is, and that takes up my time. So recently I have a Kia Sorento, which is one of my only family cars in my fleet, and I always get families with kids that rent that car. And so I had these guests come into town, and when they brought the car back, I actually had them return it at the Turo lot because they were leaving ahead of schedule, and I wasn't notified ahead of time that they wanted to leave 3 hours prior to the end of their rental. So I had no choice but to have them drop the car off at the Turo lot, which, mind you, costs me more money because now I have to pay a fee to Turo. So that was just one part of this bad experience that I had. But when I picked up the car, it had, like, they literally left a little vial of weed in the car. They left wrappers for edibles. They left swishers, joint paper. I mean, all that good stuff. It was all in the car. And so now I have to spend my time making sure that I'm going through my entire car, because my next renters, I know they have little kids, and I'm not trying to have these little kids find some weed in the car during their trip, and that could just be all bad. So in those scenarios, and in this case, my car smelled like weed. It really did. And it's because they left weed in the car. And they even said that they left weed in the car. And so, of course, I had to reach out to Turo and say, hey, I need to charge them a cleaning fee because, one, this is a pain in the ass. Two, now I have to thoroughly go through my car. I have to spend my time. I have to go get it professionally clean. And, if my next rental started immediately after, which thank God in this case it didn't, I mean, that would be terrible because that would provide a horrible experience for the next person. So what I like about Turo is that they allow you to charge up to $250 in a cleaning fee, and that's provided that you can provide proof that there was smoking or that there was drugs in the car, or food and drinks. And that's why Turo has that policy of not having that stuff in the car, so that hosts don't have to experience those type of problems. But of course, you'll always get people that do that. So that's one thing that I really like. The other policy of theirs that I also really like as well is late fees, right? So what Turo does is they allow you to charge $50 an hour up to 4 hours after the end of the reservation time that the renter has not returned the vehicle back to you. So, of course, I think as a host, this only applies to some cases, right? A lot of people are from out of town, they're traveling, they're new to the city, and a lot of shit can happen while you're traveling. Things go wrong, and that's normal. Things happen. But I think when the problem comes in is when you have inconsiderate people who don't let you know that, hey, I'm running late. Hey, I'm not going to be there for another 5 hours or 10 hours or actually till tomorrow. Things like that have happened where people just don't show up. And the biggest problem about that is that they don't communicate with you. So you have no idea what's going on. Did this person just steal my car? Do I need to call the cops? Do I need to file a stolen car claim? I mean, you don't know what's happening. So in those scenarios, absolutely 100%, I will charge the late fee because, when you have no communication and these people are late, and you can only charge up to 4 hours. So when they're late, 8 hours, there's really nothing you can do about it, but you should absolutely charge that late fee. And especially because for a lot of hosts, you have, and as you get more and more, as you start ranking on Turo and you do better and better with your rentals, you start getting back-to-back rentals. So a lot of times I have rentals that start an hour after, 2 hours after, so I only have a very small gap in between. And anytime I have that scenario as a host, I always let the renters know, hey, I just want to make sure that you'll be able to return the car on time, because I do have another rental starting right after. So that way, if there's any issues or they think that they're gonna be running late, then I can coordinate with the next person, Generally, people will always work with you. But for people who don't communicate with you and just decide that they don't wanna come back with your car, absolutely charge that late fee. But, there's so many times where people are running late, and that's just natural. They got stuck in traffic. Here in LA, you can get on the freeway and you think, oh, it's going to take you 30 minutes to get somewhere because it's not peak traffic hour, and, there's one accident on the freeway, and all of a sudden that 30-minute drive turns into an hour and a half. And that I totally understand. It happens to me. It happens every day to people. So for scenarios like that, I feel bad for my guests already. They got stuck in traffic, or they're running late, or, one guy was hungover, but he was so honest. He let me know, hey, you know what? I'm so sorry. I didn't wake up this morning. I was hungover. I partied a little bit too hard last night, but I'm on my way. So as long as they communicate and they let you know, then yeah, things happen, and I'm not going to charge you that late fee. I understand. I've been hungover. I've gotten stuck in traffic. I get it. There's all kinds of travel delays that can happen. So in most scenarios, I don't take advantage of that late fee because I want people to have a good experience, and I don't want them to get dinged with that fee. So as long as, it's not affecting me or affecting my next rental, and these people keep good communication, they let me know, hey, I'm on my way, but sorry, I'm running a little bit late. Totally cool. Things happen. But for the people who just all of a sudden want to disappear on you and have no communication and kind of leave you stranded, thinking that, oh, your car's on its way back, but it's really not coming for the next who knows how many hours, for them, all the way, charge the late fees because it affects your business model, right? It affects, if you have a rental after, it affects that. So these are some of the policies that I really like that Turo has, and they're really good about it. Obviously, when it comes to returning a car, that's why they have the checkout process. So when you check out, everything is timestamped. So they know, right? So there's really no getting around it. And then same thing for cleaning fees. That's why it's so important to always make sure you check in and check out every time a trip starts, and take tons of pictures. And not just outside of your car, make sure you're taking photos on the inside of your car, because whenever you have cleaning issues, it's always on the interior of the vehicle, no matter what. So you want to make sure that you're taking photos of driver's side, passenger side, back seat, third row seat, trunk. So however your car is configured, you want images of everything, because things happen. You get bad people, and people are insane. They will try to deny the whole thing, and they will act like they don't know what the host is talking about. And, oh, I left weed in the car. That's not a big deal. You could just vacuum it up. I mean, that's literally what a guy said to me. But no, it is a big deal, because it takes up all my time. I have another rental right after yours, and now I gotta go get it professionally clean. This is not how I gave you the car. And so, that's why you want to take photos, because that's the first thing Turo will do, is they'll look at the documentation of, the trip, and see the check-in and the check-out, and they look at the timestamps. And it's clear as day, when you provide that evidence, that obviously, who's in the right and who's in the wrong. And the renters can't dispute that, because it's so well documented. So that's why I always stress you have to take good photos. It's the most crucial thing. You want to make sure you're checking in and checking out, because if you're not checking in to your rentals, and if you're not uploading at least 6 photos, you get your coverage, your insurance coverage is actually not valid. So you have to make sure you do that. So those are policies that I love that Turo has. I think it really protects us as hosts, and the way the system is set up, there's just no denying it on the renter's end as well. So there's great documentation. And this is what marketplaces are about. And it's great that they have the system, because it weeds out the people who are not good for the marketplace. So these policies really help in doing that and in protecting the host. So hope that some of the scenarios I experienced recently, help you guys in making sure that you are collecting on the fees that you rightfully should. And then you're also being lenient for the people who need the leniency, right? Because things happen. So it's all about providing that good experience. At the end of the day, you're not in a rental business, you're in the business of providing an experience. And you want people to have a good time with your car. You want them to have a good trip during their travels, and you want them to come back to you. So the next time they're in town, the next time they need a car, they think of you first. And those referrals will come, and it takes time to build. And, so just this weekend, I exercised all of those policies, and I know the renters weren't happy about it, but that's not my problem. I feel bad. I didn't want to charge you that money, but now you took up my time, and you affected my other rentals, and I want everyone to have a great experience. So if you're inconsiderate, and you could care less about somebody else's things, then that's what's going to happen. So hope that helps. Thanks, guys.